I was one of the 34,000 people who attended the Bernie AOC rally on Friday. I obviously was not paid to be there. I was off work already because my hours happened to coincide with that. And I made it down there in time to hear AOC talk, although I never saw her because I could never get close enough to even begin to make out the actual features of the people speaking. But I could hear her voice. And then when Bernie came on stage, the whole place erupted. We were all Bernie, Bernie. It was very infectious. I've seen Bernie in person before in a much smaller venue at the convention center, I believe, like 8 years ago. And I have no trouble believing that there were 34,000 people there. I've been to Pride. I've seen the ginormous size of it. I've been there twice in that pretty much that same area. So I've seen, although it's not the same kind of setup, and I've actually performed on a stage there down in Civic Center Park for Taste of Colorado with, a much sparser population. So there are people saying it was all homeless folks. It's like, it's ridiculous. There aren't that many homeless people who hang around Civic Center Park. There's maybe, a dozen on any given day. And I've been to events down there very recently and seen the place. So when I got there to the Bernie thing, it was overwhelming. It was so packed. And at first, the people I was with, we didn't even want to try to go in because the line wrapped all the way around. And we got there and we saw kind of the entrance area, and then we followed it all the way back in this gigantic circle around, and got eventually decided, because we couldn't hear anything, but standing behind us while we were behind the security fence, basically we found where the porta potties were, and there was behind us there was a woman with her, would have had to have been her grandmother, maybe her great grandmother. She was 101 years old, the lady said, in a wheelchair. And I couldn't help but think this woman was here for World War II. She was an adult at the end of World War II. If she's 101 now, she would have been 21 at the close of the last time this world fought off the Nazis, and the last time this world experienced fascism. And the effort and I saw there was another woman in a wheelchair we ran into later on, and that people who, that's not an easy place to navigate in those circumstances with huge mob of people. And this was many people arrived by train, and the second person we saw had arrived was in the train station. So the fact that people there were people of all ages, all different backgrounds there. They're just it was it was a wide cross section of the city and the surrounding areas. And Bernie says it's the biggest crowd he's ever spoken to. It was electric to be there. people's contempt and anger for the billionaires who are carelessly shredding our civil organization and riffling through our personal data and screwing around with our social security was palpable. I mean, nothing got people yelling more than the billionaires. We don't like them. They're not popular. And I think one of the things that really struck me was how important it is that these things happen. Because I believe we were subject to a digital mirage in the last election. And I think a lot of the shitmouth little trolls online are operated by a very small number of people or even AI bots. I mean, there's that Ben Jordan video out there where he shows this video clip of Twitter during the election where account after account after account after account suddenly says, due to the terms of service of OpenAI, I cannot continue. And it's like somebody made a mistake operating their massive AI bot farm. So when you see people who are saying glib, unpatriotic, contemptuous things about the harm that's being done to real Americans and the awful destruction that is being wreaked on these folks, it's okay to assume that you're talking to a fucking bot. It really is. It's okay to say that to them. It's okay to make sure that comment makes it into the thread so that people become aware. You don't know who in the goddamn hell these people are when you're online. When these accounts have, this jokey fake ass name and there's no profile picture and there's no real, you go to their profile, there's no original personal content there. It's just all snarky, shitty comments that they leave in comment sections. You are free to assume that they are fake. You really are. You can just be like, well, that's probably not the opinion of a real human being. That's probably the opinion of an Elon Musk programmed AI bot. And it's okay to just say that. I say it all the time. If I don't think a person's profile is real, I'm just like, you're just a fucking bot. And I think that even more because I've been to this rally and I've been in person with real human beings and seen and felt their, and it was probably the most well-behaved crowd I've ever been into. I mean, when we dispersed, we get there after the music and the stuff because we got there late. And so I only got to hear that. And again, I did briefly see Bernie. I was standing, I'm not tall. I'm not very tall. So we finally, we followed the line around the back and we came in through the metal detectors, which had counters on top of them, by the way. That's how they know how many people were there. And I stood on my tippy toes and I at first I couldn't even figure out exactly where the speakers were because, I was hearing them through the sound system, which was I was hearing it way off to the right. And I was not entirely clear on where the actual people talking, where was the stage. I didn't know. And when I finally spotted him, it was only very briefly, and I could just see him making his signature pointing and his little tiny, white head. And I was like, oh, there he is. And I got my phone out and I held it up and I took some video. And I'm not going to incorporate that into this, but it was a jam-packed crowd and he was tiny and far away. And all I could think was, this is real. This is not a digital mirage. These people weren't paid to come here. I mean, this is an entirely, I knew maybe a week in advance that this was going to happen. And I think that's all any of us knew. And we all got our butts down there. We didn't have to pay to get in. We just showed up. And when we dispersed, it was I mean, very, very orderly. Everyone, kept from running over each other. We just made our way back to however we had gotten there. A huge bunch of us made our way back to the train, which is how we got there, because that's probably the only sensible way to get in and out of downtown Denver when there's going to be that many people there. But it was electrifying. And I think people are waking up that this just let shit happen kind of political system that we have been dealing with for years and years is failing us. This this centrist dominated Democratic Party has failed us. I mean, they had some, Bernie has his spiel. I've heard it before, and he's been saying the same things for years, unfortunately, because these problems have not been solved. Healthcare needs to be available for everyone. All the other major industrialized countries on the planet have figured this out. And we need to get money out of politics. It's painfully obvious that we must simply make it illegal to give money to a politician. I think that just needs to happen. We need to make elections publicly funded, and we need to make it illegal to bribe a politician, because that's all this is. It's bribery. And, Bernie and AOC only take money from ordinary people. They don't take from big corporations. They don't do favors for big corporations. And you can see that reflected in their behavior. And you can also see that reflected in the way the rest of the system treats them, which is it does the very best it can to marginalize them. But when they show up to speak to we the people, they are the ones saying the things we want to listen to. And I'm sure that the establishment is very alarmed by how many people show up at these things. I don't think this is going to go away because this isn't status quo anymore. This is an ongoing crisis where every single day we are learning that something else is under attack that we, the people, depend on and have paid for. And I think that we're going to reach a point where a lot more of us will be attending events like this, regardless of how they try to contain or control or intimidate people. Because we are the many and they are the few.